Student of 12th class, I am your English teacher Ayub Khan. I am going to start the last lesson from your book Flamingo. Now you open your book, the chapter, the last lesson. It is very interesting and inspiring lesson to all the students. Here, the writer of this poem, the chapter, who was a student of his school, his name is Franz, and the teacher who teaches him is named Eng Ch. It means to say that there are two main characters of this chapter. Eng Ch, the teacher, and student Franz are the main character of this chapter. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of scolding, especially because Eng Ch had said that he would question to us on participle. Here the narrator is going to tell you as a student while he was a school student, that day, particular on the day of the last lesson, when the Mr. Hamel, who was his teacher, has told his student that the next day he would listen to every student about the rules of participles. Writer was very upset because he didn't know even the single word about the participle. That's why he started very late for school in the morning. He wants to truant. It means to say he doesn't want to attend the class. He wants to reach the school while the class may be over. When he was going to school, in the way, he saw that many people were standing before the bulletin board and were reading some news which has been generally noticed on that bulletin board. Though in the way he saw many things which attracted him, but he continuously going to school. I thought he was making fun of me. One of the person was a blacksmith who told me not to go to school because one can go to school every day, but such a time seeing the notice board and knowing about them, these are occasional things. But he could not, attracted by the words of the watcher and continuously ran to his school and reaches the school. While there was pin drop silence in the class, he entered in the class. That day he noticed that teacher Hamel was in his good uniform, which generally he used to put on good occasions or school activities, on the day of school activities. While I reached in the class, my teacher didn't scold me, but he kindly said, "Little Franz, go and sit on your seat." I jumped hurriedly and sat on my seat. And while I was in the class, I noticed that some of the people, respectable people of the village, also were there sitting on the back benches and paying their respect to the 40 years service to Mr. Hamel, because a letter had come from Berlin. This would be the last chapter of French language, and the next day the new teacher would come and Hamel would be transferred to other places. While I come to know that my teacher would be transferred to other school and this would be a last French lesson to me, these words of my teacher goes to my ears just like a thunderclap, and why I was very upset. No doubt, everyone, every student, every pupil, respectable people of the village were very unhappy to know that on account of that Prussian army had defeated to our country, and they have begun to rule over us. We know well that we love our motherland, our mother language. Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw Mr. Hamel sitting motionless on that day, sitting on the chair and gazing everything, fixing his eyes. He looks very upset because he was thinking that it was the last lesson or last day of his service from that school. The new teacher would come and he will take his place. Now, at the same time, all at once the church clock struck 12, then English. It means to say everybody stood on his place to say the prayer. And at the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussian returning from drill sounded under one windows. Prussian armies who have now started ruling our country, they were passing through the states. Teacher wanted to say something, addressing to his students, my friends, but he could not say anything more because his throat choked. It means to say कि उनका गला रुध गया and he could not speak even a single word, but at last he spoke one line, Vive la France. It means live long France. फ्रांस लंबे समय तक जीवित रहे. These were the last words of Mr. Hamel, and at last he spoke to his student, dear student, school is dismissed and now you can go your homes. This chapter now come to an end, and learn your question, long and short questions which had already been sent to you.